Picture this. It's 2021 and Australia is in the middle of a dispute with Facebook. The social media giant suddenly blocks all news content across the country. No warnings, no negotiations, just a digital switch flipped off. Overnight, Australians couldn't share news articles, emergency services lost communication channels, and even the weather updates disappeared. So what Facebook did, actually, they showed everyone that a single company based thousands of miles away could control what an entire nation or a country could see and share online. This wasn't just about social media, obviously. It was, in fact, a profound wake-up call about who truly controls our digital world. So what happens if the platforms we depend on suddenly change their rules, raise their prices, or shut us out? This right here is the core question of digital sovereignty. Who controls our digital destiny? This question has never been more critical. So what exactly is digital sovereignty? And how did we get to a point where nations and businesses are fighting for control over their own digital lives and futures? And most importantly, what does this mean for managers and entrepreneurs who are supposed to navigate this increasingly complex digital landscape? Stay tuned because today we're looking into that. I'm Hamid Nash and welcome to a new episode of eCompass. Digital sovereignty means having a certain level of control over your digital infrastructure and your data rather than just being entirely dependent on foreign companies or foreign platforms. You can think of it as digital independence. The 2080s brought the first hints of what was to come when the US government restricted technology exports during the Cold War. Some countries got a taste of how technology could actually be weaponized. So the 90s brought the internet, and with it, the rise of all these American tech giants. Companies like Microsoft, AOL, and then later Google and Amazon, they started building the digital infrastructure that would power the entire global economy. But here's the thing, most countries were so excited about the possibilities of this new digital world that few stopped to ask, what happens when we become completely dependent on these platforms? The early 2000s marked the beginning of serious concerns about digital dependency. The dot-com boom showed just how powerful these platforms could become, and suddenly governments, they started paying attention. Countries like China, for example, began implementing what we call the Great Firewall. And this wasn't just for censorship, by the way. It was also to protect and help their domestic tech companies grow. So the 2010 brought the real wake-up call. Edward Snowden's revelations, they showed how deeply intelligence agencies were embedded in digital infrastructure. Suddenly, countries realized that using foreign cloud services might mean their most sensitive data was potentially accessible for foreign governments. Around the same time, tech platforms became just incredibly powerful. So powerful, in fact, that they could influence elections, or they could control information flow, and they could essentially determine what billions of people see and, what they believe. Then came the trade wars and all the geopolitical tensions of the late 2010s. The US ban on Huawei, for example, it really showed how technology could be weaponized. Countries watched as Chinese companies were suddenly cut off from American technology, and American companies were restricted from Chinese markets. It became clear that in our interconnected world, digital dependency could become a serious concern. The TikTok saga illustrates these concerns. Here we have a platform used by hundreds of millions of Americans, but it was owned by a Chinese company. The US government worried about data collection and potential influence operations, while the users and businesses worried about losing a platform they depend on. And then the pandemic, well, it just accelerated everything, didn't it? Entire economies depended on digital platforms for remote work, for education, and for commerce. Countries that had robust digital infrastructure, they managed better, while those dependent on foreign platforms faced serious challenges. So what does digital sovereignty actually look like in practice? Well, it operates on multiple levels, each with its own set of challenges and implications. At the national level, it's about countries building their own digital infrastructure. Take Estonia, for example. After cyber attacks in 2007, they didn't just improve their cybersecurity, which they did, but they also built one of the world's most advanced digital governments. Estonians can now vote online, they can access government services digitally, and many other services. They essentially created a sovereign digital nation that isn't dependent on foreign platforms. Or look at the India's approach with UPI, the Unified Payment Interface. Instead of relying on foreign payment systems like Visa or MasterCard for digital transactions, India built its own. Today, UPI processes billions of transactions monthly. China represents perhaps the most comprehensive approach to digital sovereignty. The country has built alternative systems for practically every major digital service. Baidu instead of Google, WeChat instead of WhatsApp, Alibaba instead of Amazon, TikTok instead of Instagram, and so on. This isn't just about blocking foreign platforms, it's about creating a complete self-contained digital system. Chinese companies now really rival their American counterparts in innovation and global reach. Then the European approach with GDPR. Europe isn't just building its own platform, it's creating rules that force foreign platforms to operate on European terms. In Africa, digital sovereignty takes a rather different meaning altogether. It's about avoiding digital colonialism before it even takes hold. Take Kenya's M-Pesa, which created a mobile payment system that now dominates the country's transaction. Kenya built its own financial infrastructure that foreign companies now have to adapt to. Digital sovereignty isn't just about nations, it applies to businesses too. Consider a company that builds entire operation on Amazon Web Services. That's convenient, and often cost-effective, but what happens if AWS changes its pricing or its policies or decides your business violates their terms of service? You're essentially at their mercy, completely. Digital sovereignty for businesses then means having alternatives. It means maintaining control over critical data, and it means not being entirely dependent on any single platform. For organizations, implementing digital sovereignty starts with understanding your digital dependencies. You need to map out what foreign platforms and services you rely on. That includes cloud storage, communication tools, payment systems, software platforms, you name it. Then, crucially, you ask what would happen if each of these became unavailable, or if they became dramatically more expensive, or if they, just stopped functioning for you. Next, consider data sovereignty. Ask yourself, where exactly is your data stored? Who can access it? Which country's laws govern it? Many organizations now use data localization strategies to keep important data within their own country or region. This may mean choosing a local cloud provider or using a hybrid approach, keeping sensitive data in-house while using foreign platforms for less critical tasks. Take a Canadian financial services company, for instance. They may say, our customer information and transaction records that's staying right here in Canada, but internal marketing campaigns and promotional stuff, sure, we can use whatever cloud service give us the best deal. Technology sovereignty is another important aspect. This means having some level of control over the core technologies your business depends on. It might involve using open source software instead of proprietary foreign solutions, or developing in-house capabilities for critical functions, or at the very least, having backup options when primary systems fail. Now, the implementation challenges. They are real and significant, so let's break them down. First, there is cost. Building your own digital infrastructure is incredibly expensive, way more than just using established platforms like Google Cloud. Then there's the capability gap. The world's most advanced technologies come from just a handful of companies in a few countries. When you choose digital sovereignty, you're often giving up access to these cutting-edge solutions. That means you might have to accept lower performance, at least initially, while you build up your own capabilities. Here's another challenge, the innovation dilemma. The most cutting-edge AI models and cloud services come from foreign companies. If you restrict access to these tools, you might actually hurt your own innovation and competitiveness. And then there is the interoperability. Your sovereign systems still need to talk to the rest of the world. Countries have to balance independence with participation in the global digital economy. So despite the challenges, we're seeing some innovative approaches emerge. Well, the concept of digital sovereignty is evolving. It's moving beyond complete independence towards something more practical, what experts call strategic autonomy. This means building strong domestic capabilities in critical areas while still participating in a global technology ecosystem for less sensitive functions. Many countries are adopting this hybrid approach. They build sovereign capabilities in strategic sectors like telecommunication, banking, and government services, while using global platforms for commercial applications. It's just about being selective. Take Singapore, for example. Their Smart Nation initiative focuses on digital sovereignty for critical infrastructure while staying open to the global technology partnerships in commercial sectors. Organizations are developing similar strategies. They could use what's called digital sovereignty frameworks. Here's how a typical framework works. Level 1, national security or like critical information that stays completely under domestic control. Level 2, important business data can use platforms from trusted ally countries with strong protection. Level 3, general business data can use any reliable platform. And level 4, that's public information, can use whatever most effective regardless of where it's located. So looking ahead, digital sovereignty will likely become even more important as technology becomes, more and more integrated into every single aspect of life. The rise of AI makes this particularly critical. Whoever controls the AI infrastructure ultimately controls the intelligence capability of entire societies. The future then might not be about complete digital independence, absolute separation, but about having meaningful choices. Instead of a single global internet dominated by few massive companies, we might see multiple interconnected but autonomous digital ecosystems. Countries and organizations would have the option to switch between these ecosystems based on their needs, their values, and their strategic interest. For businesses, the key insight here is this. Digital sovereignty isn't just a government concern anymore. In an increasingly connected world, every organization, big or small, needs to think about its digital dependencies and have a clear plan for maintaining some level of autonomy. This doesn't mean avoiding all foreign platforms. It means making conscious strategic decisions about where to depend on others and where to maintain your independence. The digital world is becoming simply too important to leave entirely in someone else's hands. So this is Hamid Nash, and I'll see you in the next episode of eCompass.